characters in today's story are Kiba and his family. After considering his circumstances, Kiba decided that his whole family would move to a large house so that his wife, children, and old mother could have a more comfortable life. The new house that Kiba bought was close to the old one, so moving was quite convenient. Kiba had also bought new furniture to redecorate the house and make it more spacious and comfortable. Kiba's mother was 70 years old this year. Although she was weak, she was eager to help her son. Kiba's wife was also very excited, wanting to help clean the new house. Kiba told his mother to just relax and go for a walk around the house, leaving everything to him and his wife. Kiba's son was also extremely interested and intrigued by this new space, so he kept running around. By nighttime, the whole family had finally finished cleaning up this new house. Kiba was a very loyal son, so he prepared his mother's room thoughtfully, and before going to bed, he asked her if everything was good enough, and if she needed anything, she must just ask him. Kiba knew she had been cleaning and helping all day, so she should have an early night. He then advised his mother to sleep early and exited her room. Tomorrow morning, he would go to the market to buy some personal things for her. Then Kiba also returned to his room. His wife was putting things together in the room, and his son was already sleeping. Kiba's wife asked him if his mom was asleep. She thought that she had looked a bit sad that day. Kiba said that maybe it was because she had to leave her old house, where she created so many memories, but that she would be fine with time. Both Kiba and his wife slept until dawn, since they were so tired from the previous day. Since he didn't see his mother waking up early as usual, Kiba came knocking on her door. He kept calling her, but she didn't answer. Seeing that, his wife's face couldn't hide her concern. She suddenly recalled that his mom woke up early every day. Why would she get up so late today? A feeling inside her told her that something bad had happened. So Kiba quickly pushed the door down and entered, calling his mother's name. Once inside, Kiba saw his old mother still lying on the bed, carefully covered with the blanket. However, she still didn't respond to their words, not even a flinch. This made both of them extremely concerned. They both walked to the side of her bed and noticed she was okay. The daughter-in-law sighed in relief. She was sleeping so deeply that neither the husband nor his wife could wake her up. Then the couple decided to go out and let the mom rest. The mother kept sleeping all day until the night fell. It wasn't until dinner that Kiba's mother woke up and opened the door to enter the dining room. However, her face today looked strange. Kiba and his wife asked if she had a good night's sleep, but she said nothing. Just like that, the mother sat down on the chair, picked up a bowl of rice, and devoured it. She ate it as if she hadn't eaten in days. Observing this, Kiba's face started to look surprised. She looked strange today. Something was off. Suddenly, Kiba's son screamed. His mouth stuttered and his whole body trembled. The boy looked at his grandma with horror, as if he had seen something terrible. He suddenly started growling. Kiba's wife asked him what had happened, but he only kept looking back and forth between his grandma and his mother while crying. He cried even louder, then pointed his finger at her and said it was not his grandmother. Kiba and his wife were both extremely confused as to what was going on. Kiba turned to tell his mother that she should eat slowly, otherwise she would choke. However, at that moment, the mother suddenly froze. Only an annoyed growl came out of her mouth. Kiba looked terrified. Why had his mother suddenly changed? Kiba's wife was so scared that she turned pale and thought, why had her mother-in-law become so scary today? Their son kept on crying, louder and louder. After finishing all the food on the table, The mother stood up and walked straight back into her room. Kiba's wife knew something was wrong. Ever since they moved into this house, she seemed to be different. Scared and worried, Kiba followed his mother into the room to see if she had any health problems. He gently knocked on the door, called out to his mother, and carefully stepped inside. But just like before, not even a single word came from her mouth. Only a terrifying growl. When Kiba approached her, she turned around and with a horrifying face, she shouted for him to get out of the room. She then started rushing towards Kiba, still shouting. By then, Kiba was truly terrified by his mother, but afraid of what might happen, he decided to look from the outside of the room. The wife thought her mother-in-law was dissatisfied with the change of houses, and that's why she was acting so oddly. But Kiba disagreed and reassured his wife that when they moved in there, she was happy, and that it was unlike her to get this angry. Then Kiba thought that maybe it was because she was unfamiliar with the place, but she would be fine after resting. After that, the couple also went to their bedroom, but they were both unable to sleep that night because of the strange events that happened that day. The next day, at the crack of dawn, Kiba woke up from his wife's screams. The wife was now holding her head down, with her hands on her face. Kiba thought his wife had fallen or bumped her head against the wall, so he hurried to her. It turned out that wasn't the case. He could see that his wife's hair had been cut off by someone else. His wife just sat there in pain and panic. It was in that moment that Kiba started to really panic, realizing his mother was maybe the culprit. Despite how unlikely that might have been, he began to doubt the house. The wife kept crying, and Kiba tried to comfort her, but it didn't calm her down at all. One shocking event was not over yet when another came. They realized their son was nowhere to be found. Kiba and his wife started to worry, so they both rushed out to find their child. Although they searched everywhere, they could not find him. They were both truly afraid. Kiba even ran into the neighbor's house looking for his son, but no luck. The wife was at home, calling out for her son, but no response could be heard. They both felt helpless. They clasped their hands and prayed for their son's well-being. Then, they suddenly saw the son run out of his grandma's room, holding a carefully framed photo. Kiba and his wife were surprised that their son ran into her room to play. Without saying anything, the boy held the photo frame that his grandmother gave him in front of them. Both of them looked at the photo and suddenly felt as if something cold ran through their spines. Their faces were still in shock. In the photo was a family of 4, including an old woman, a couple, and a son, exactly like Kiba's family. The only discernible difference was that the woman's hair in the photo was shorter. Even more frightening, just a second later, the image of the mother in the photo suddenly turned into an image of Kiba's mother, but with a terrifying look. "What is this all about?" Kiba's wife exclaimed. "Why is your mother in this picture?" She showed extreme fear and concern. Surely this house was haunted. Why else would her hair be cut short when she woke up? And just like in the picture. Suddenly, at that moment, inside of Kiba's mother's room, a burst of flames came out. Kiba was so scared, so he asked his wife to watch over their son. He needed to run inside to save his mom. Inside the room was so smoky. Kiba tried to break in, hoping his mother would be okay. Once inside, Kiba stood and looked bewildered. The flames were so big. The person who caused the fire was none other than his mother, who was fanning the fire vigorously while shouting. Despite Kiba's best efforts to stop and bring her outside, she screamed and told him to get out of this house. Then she shouted that Kiba was a disloyal son and that he needed to give her life back. Ignoring her delusion, Kiba tried to stop his mother's odd behavior, then pulled her out the fire. As he did so, a large wooden bar fell straight down from the burning ceiling. The whole house was now engulfed in flames. His mother had passed out by now. Kiba tried his best to bring her towards the door. Kiba used all his strength to carry his mother and rushed out of the flames. Seeing him and his mother come out, his wife let out a small sigh of relief. Soon, the house was burned down. The fire spread too quickly and was too fierce and fast. The couple could only helplessly watch all their possessions dissipate in the rage of fire. A few hours later, the fire had gone out, but the house was left with nothing. Kiba and his wife quickly carried their mother into an ambulance. They don't know why it happened, but thought that perhaps this was the result of angry souls in the house. Through research, Kiba learnt about the terrifying event that happened to the previous house's owners. The son and daughter-in-law tricked the mother into signing the rights to the house to them and kicked the mother out of it. But that same night, out of rage and revenge, the mother came back with a can of gas and burned down the house. The whole family of 4 died together in the sea of fire. The house was then rebuilt and sold to Kiba's family, who unexpectedly moved to the house filled with spirits. Kiba had no choice but to sell the land and move to another city.